everyone. Welcome into the YouTube channel. I'm Star the Flippin' Hippo, and we are well into November of 2020. So happy November, everybody. But the beginning of a new month on this channel means that I do a recap of our sales for the past month. I do 3 videos each month. One is the plush that sold on eBay the prior month. One is jeans that sold on eBay. And then I also do a video highlighting our Poshmark sales. So we will be highlighting all of the plush that sold on eBay from the month of October 2020 in this video. And I did pull up every single plush that sold on eBay platform for the month. We sold 30 total plush, which averages out to about 1 per day. There's 31 days in October, so a little less than that. Our sell-through rate for plush this past month was a 0.2%, which is, it's okay for plush. Plush is very long tail. Plush is more long tail than used clothing. Plush is probably one of the most longest tails. Plush takes a long time to sell. And, your electronics and things like that will move at 1% sell-through rate. Used clothing is usually at about a 0.5, and plush will usually be half of what clothing is. So 0.2% is okay, especially considering sales overall, especially the volume of sales, was way down in October. So I'll take 1 a day. That averages out to an okay sell-through rate for plush. If you're new to plush and you didn't know that, yes, that is why your plush has been listed for 2 months and hasn't sold. I get questions like that all the time. People just getting frustrated. They don't understand why they have all these plush listed and they're not selling. We have like 520 current listed. So we would have had like 550 over the month of October if you add in the 30 that we sold. And we sold an average of 1 per day. Plush is very, very long tail. So if you want to ask me why your plush hasn't sold, it's because it's long tail and you're waiting for the right person to come along. Typically, the less expensive plush, you're waiting for the parent who's coming along to replace a lost or broken or whatever toy stuffed animal for their kids. And then the ones that are more expensive, you're either waiting for a parent who's willing to spend that kind of money on a child who is currently, a fan of whatever show or movie that character is, or you're looking for the right adult who's willing to spend that kind of money on a toy for themselves. For example, we had a World of Warcraft wolf once that sold for $60. I can guarantee you that went to a World of Warcraft player and not a child. But whatever the reason, all plush is waiting for the right person to come along and rescue them to their new forever home. And they take a while. Every once in a while, you're going to get one that sells really fast. Sometimes some of them are just more popular or harder to find. So if someone's been looking for a particular plush for a very long time and you just happen to come along and list the one or one of very few that has been on eBay in a long time, you'll sell it quickly. If things are really popular, like right around the time a new movie releases, the best example I can give you is when Frozen 2 came out. The month prior, the month of, and the month after that movie came out, any Frozen plush we were listing were selling very quickly. So you will have, your outliers. You will always have exceptions to every rule. There will be plush that you will sell fast, but most of them you will not. They're very, very long tail. So if you're coming out to like a 0.2 to a 0.5% sell-through rate, you're doing great. And if you can get, over 500 active listings in plush, that's when you're going to start seeing the daily sales and have a lot of plush sell. Okay, guys, you're looking at a Disney Pixar Toy Story Woody. Toy Story is still popular. It still sells, not as fast as it did when Toy Story 4 came out. But it's still popular. There's 4 movies. Kids are introduced to this all the time by parents. There's adults who love the show, the movies. So I do think that any of the Toy Story plush are definitely a Bolo. I do pick them up anytime I find them. The more obscure and harder to find characters from the movies are going to sell for more money and do better. This little Woody went for $11.24, and he shipped first class. Most of our plush do ship first class, and then in that case, we offer free shipping, and you'll see a couple that sold that way over £1, and we do calculated shipping on. This is Dora the Explorer. Again, it's an older Nickelodeon show, but she's still a popular character. Children still really like her. And this one was unique because she had the little tennis outfit and the tennis racket. And she sold for $11.99. Nickelodeon Paw Patrol is a very, very popular show right now. It has been for a while. As long as I've been reselling, Paw Patrol plush have done really well. Now, the bigger ones and the more obscure characters, again, are going to sell for more money. For a little while there, Chase was hard to find, the police dog, and he sold for a lot. But just like with any line of plush characters from any popular children's show or movies, the characters that are more common are going to be more saturated, and they're going to sell for less money, and they're going to take longer to sell. The characters that are harder to find, they're going to sell faster, and you can usually get more money for them. And one of the best, most obscure characters you can be looking for is any of the Disney villains that aren't super duper popular. So like Sir Hiss from Robin Hood. I think Maleficent is getting harder to find. But if you can just find those like obscure villains or obscure characters from any show, really, they do tend to do better than, the more common ones. This is Zuma. He is the chocolate lab that is a water rescue dog. He sold for $12.99. This is a vintage Dakin camel. So vintage plush, Dakin plush, and realistic animals, all three are Bolos. This one was cute. It had eyelashes. This one sold for $19.99. And I believe he, shipped first class. So here's a Pluto. This is a Just Play. So when you look for Disney plush, if you're not into the bread and butters, you may want to look for Disney Store or the Walt Disney Parks. He had writing on his tag too, you could see. But he's a Just Play, so they're going to be worth a little bit less. Mattel, Hasbro, all of them. This Pluto sold for $11.99. And then there's this Goofy that is an official Walt Disney World Goofy. You can see his tags. He sold for $13.99, and one buyer actually bought both of these, and they shipped together, and they were still first class. Build-A-Bear is definitely a Bolo. Of course, the different Build-A-Bears are going to sell for different price points and have different sell-through rates. The plain bears and plain dogs I usually sell from $17 to $20, depending, and they can sit a little bit longer. This one hasn't been around that long. It's a black cat in a purple costume. Many of you might remember when I brought her home. I found her for only 50 cents, and I really wanted to keep her. But she did sell for $37.49. Next up, Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This will never not be popular, I don't think. I remember as a kid, I liked the Turtles. When my now grown kids were kids, they liked the Turtles. Turtles are still popular. So I always tell people, if you find turtles, snatch them up. This is a 2-foot long Leonardo. He sold for $18.74. But even though he was that large, he still did not weigh over £1, so he shipped first class. Here's another Pluto. Now, this is a special Pluto. He is Disney, but he is also a Sega prize redemption promo. So I did put promo and prize in his title, and he sold for $12.99. Here's a Beanie Boo. So some Thai animals are worth money. The classic Beanie Babies that you guys are all familiar with really are not worth sourcing at all. But some of these Beanie Boos can be worth money. Now, they're hit or miss. I've brought home Beanie Boos that turned out to be something special, and they were over 20 bucks. And I brought home Beanie Boos like this leopard named Glamour, who comped really low, so I sold them for $8.99. I find them for 50 cents or less, either at Goodwill or church sales, things like that. So I'll just grab any and all of them and bring them home. If you don't like filler or bread and butter, then you may want to comp them before you purchase them. If you're going to take the risk, I would say don't spend more than 50 to 75 cents, just because you're going to get some like Glamour hair, and some are worth money. This is a little lot of poop plush. So there's like a Hallmark bear, a Humane Society dog. These three came out of a big bag of plush we bought. We took out all the plush that was worth money and sold them individually. And we wadded up what was left in little tiny lots like this. Once the ones that were worth money sold, the bag was paid for. It was like $2 for a whole big bag of plush. And then instead of redonating these or, giving them away or whatever, we just lot them up. I took $8.10 for the lot. Then we have a Fluff and Stuff Tiger Cub. Fluff and Stuff is not a brand I would actually tell anyone to source, but I mean, it's got a bread and butter price. So I guess it would be like the Beanie Boos and the Gans Webkins you bring home that aren't worth a lot. If you found this for 50 cents, maybe a quarter, I would probably source it. The Fluff and Stuffs sell pretty fast. I had 2 tigers and 2 lambs, and you're going to see one of each sold the same month I listed them. That's really fast for plush. So this is the Fluff and Stuff tiger. I did buy 2 mystery boxes of plush along with Robert, the zombie bargain hunter. You guys know him. And we opened them together. That was how I ended up with Fluff and Stuff. Here's the lamb. And the lamb sold for $10, and the tiger sold for $11.24. They both shipped first class. Here's a Littlest Pet Shop. This is something I just took a risk on because it was only 50 cents. Decided to bring her home. She sold for a best offer of $9.89. Here's a Douglas Cuddle Toy. Douglas Cuddle Toy is a definite Bolo. There are some Douglas Cuddle Toys out there that go for $100, $200. They're like the larger Disney characters. This is just a little 10-inch plush doll, but it sold for $18.99. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for the Douglas Cuddle Toys. Here we have Vexi Smurf. This is just like a bread and butter plush. I had 2 of them, and the buyer bought both and spent $18 on 2 of the same exact Smurf, and they shipped first class even though there were 2 of them. This is from Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, which is a Disney Channel cartoon for kids. So again, just an example of a Disney plush. This is a Disney store and an example of a character from a popular cartoon. This is Cassandra. She sold for $12 on a best offer, shipped first class. Then we have this little Justice Aurora Pammy Finnick Fox Mermaid. She came in the mystery box, as I mentioned earlier. I had no idea what she was. I had to actually comp her and kind of look her up a little bit to figure out what I had here. But she did sell for $13.99. This is a witch bear pumpkin plush I got at a church sale years ago. I think it was like a quarter. It was really cheap. It had damage on its hat. You can see here. This is something I probably should not have sourced back when I was new and still learning. It's a generic brand. It's from Value City. I mean, I would not source this again. So here's an example of what to avoid. Even if it is only 10 cents at a church sale, it will take years to sell. And I didn't want to get rid of this, so I just took a best offer of $7 on it. This is Mojo Jojo, the monkey from the Cartoon Network Powerpuff Girls cartoon. And he sold for $8.43. You can see a lot of bread and butter plush this month. A lot of the filler ones. This is an Aurora Panda Bear. Aurora's a decent brand. I like to pick up some of the more realistic animals or unique animals from this brand. This Panda Bear sold for $13.12. This is a Disney World Resort Tigger in a little outfit. So he's got his little safari hat and jacket. And he's about 10 inches. So he's kind of small. I did take a best offer on Tigger of $14.50. I probably would have offered, 14 to 15. So 50 cents less just to get stuff moving and get some activity. I was okay with taking that. Here's a tiny little classic Pooh Bear. So this is the Walt Disney Company. Very small little bear. He sold for $9.99. And then we have another Pluto. I think that was 3 Plutos total that sold in the month of October. I don't think I've ever had a month where I've sold that many Plutos. He doesn't seem to be that popular of a character. I will still source him. I just don't think Pluto's that popular, but this Pluto is a Kohl's Cares. So Kohl's Cares is another one of those hit or miss plush brands. They have some Kohl's Cares, like really obscure Dr. Seuss characters from Where the Wild Things Are that do well. I have found them in the wild. They have different versions of the mouse from if you give a mouse a cookie in different outfits, and he sells for a pretty good amount. And then you have some Disney Kohl's that are just oversaturated characters like poor Pluto here that don't sell for as much. He went for $13.99, which is pretty good. I do pick up Kohl's Cares whenever I find them, especially if they're recognizable characters, if they're Disney, Looney Tunes, anything from children's books and things like that. Then we have a Dandy Collector's Choice, huge dinosaur. So Dandy Collector's Choice is a Bolo brand. I do really well with this brand. It was a Kmart brand. And this dinosaur was 21 inches. So he was almost 2 feet big. I did take a best offer of 20 on him, but the buyer did pay shipping in addition to the 20 because he did weigh over a pound by himself. So he was 20 plus shipping. Here's Moana, the Pooh pig from Moana. So this is another Disney plush character from a movie. And he's official Disney. Sold for $11.99. A Care Bear Cousins. So Care Bears are Bolo. I like Care Bears. I do really well with them. Some of the characters can go for over $20. Some of the more vintage ones can go for a lot. I saw this cousin and I decided to bring him home. He was only 50 cents. He did have some stains on him, and they were a lot worse than this, actually. I brought him home. I sprayed him down with a ton of Awesome and let him soak overnight, and I washed him with OxiClean in the wash, but not all of his stains came out. So I did have to disclose that he had some stains, and his tushy heart is faded and scratched. So I didn't get as much for him as I had hoped. I took a best offer of $15.18 on the Bright Heart Raccoon. Had he been in better shape or better condition, I probably would have tried more for 20, maybe started at 25 and took a best offer of 20. But any of the Care Bears and Care Bear Cousins are absolutely Bolos. This is a Garanimals Lovey. You guys know that Loveys are definitely a Bolo. Garanimals is a generic brand from Target or Walmart. I'm pretty sure it's Target, but it might be Walmart. It's a cheapo brand, and it sold for $12.18. Some brands of Loveys can go up to $40, $50, and even more than that. So you just want to keep your eye out for the Loveys. If you're not familiar with what a lovey is, it's a little blanket, usually a little square, usually about 12 by 12. This one's 13. But they're usually just a tiny, wee little scrap of like a security blanket. And then in the middle of them, they'll have a soft plush head. It can be an animal or a doll like her. But loveys are definitely a Bolo, something you want to be looking out for. Then we have this Winnie the Pooh classic look from Hallmark. He's got like some embroidery on him. It says honey, SLB. He's cute. So I picked him up because he was Hallmark and Disney, which is like having two things going for him. And I did take a best offer on him of $18.90. So that was our plush that sold on eBay for the month of October. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have any questions about plush or anything, feel free to leave them or join our Facebook group. It's called Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. You can search for it on Facebook or use the link in the description box to join. We do have sellers in there that sell everything from vintage to clothing to electronics to hard goods. But there is definitely a focus on plush in there. Clearly, it's my group. Robert's an admin in there as well. And you can ask any questions you have in there. Feel free to tag me or just ask everyone else. Everyone else in that group is pretty cool. Pretty chill and laid back. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up before you leave. It really helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the little bell so you're notified when I put out new content. And until next time, go be productive. Go make some money. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. Bye.